Welcome back to Get Connected. I'm your host, Con Jackson. We're talking about travel, and it's the perfect season to do it, according to our next guest. She joins us. She travels the world. Her name is Lee Woodruff, and she's going to help us out with a medical term related to travel, right?
I'm ready, man.
All right. What is the shoulder season?
Well, it's not this. But the shoulder season is where you are right now, which is after summer, when the heavy travel's over, but before holiday, and this is actually the very best time to travel because there are incredible deals out here and the weather is still great.
Lee, when it comes to traveling, what are some of the most important things for us to think about?
I think it's actually all important, and the first thing you want to do is figure out where you want to go, how long you want to stay, and how much you want to spend. And once you sort of determine what your budget is and what you want to see, you can start working on it from there. And there are so many tools, as you know, at your disposal. And I wanted to talk about Expedia today as one of those tools, in the sense that they've got some incredible deals running right now to help anybody who's planning a trip. It's their 15th anniversary, so this is a place where you can get up to 40% off thousands of hotels out there, whether you're going to stay here at home in the States or go abroad.
Now, one thing I'm beginning to learn is you can do so much more than just book plane tickets on Expedia, right?
You can plan your whole trip there, and I think if you haven't visited the website in a while, you need to. There's also a promotion if you're thinking about that big trip to Paris or whatever, called the Search for the Million-Point Suitcase. It's a scavenger hunt. You can check it out on their Facebook page, and you could win millions of points. So for those of us who are really counting our pennies in this economy, this is a great chance to come up with one of your bucket list trips for free.
Lee, I'm just curious, what are the best and cheapest times to travel?
Well, you know what? I found that the old and hard and fast rules that used to exist don't so much exist anymore, which is why if you're a savvy traveler, you do try to do the research. You get online and figure out, because there used to be old adages about the worst times to travel or the best times, you know, stay over a Saturday night and get a cheaper deal. You can play around online at a site like Expedia and find out that because there are so many people out there with discounts or special packages that you may not otherwise be aware of, that some of those rules have been broken now by the ability to really book yourself.
You know, when I use Expedia, I always feel like I'm getting the best deal.
I always do. I feel like you can go out and you can see what it is, sort of the published rate, and then you go to Expedia and you find out what you can really get it for. And one of the things that I've done with my husband, it's hard sometimes for me with the kids' school schedules, but is take a spontaneous trip on Expedia. So carve out a couple days that you don't have any plans and then go on last minute and see where are some of the places you can go. We did a trip to Vegas once that way, and we had a fabulous time. It was one of those spontaneous kind of love getaways, Con, if you're thinking about that.
Well, not only are you a travel expert, but you are a super mom. I understand you have 4 kids. So what are some travel tips so we can survive traveling with our kids?
When I travel with the kids, I give them as much candy as I possibly can just to shut them up. Yeah.
They must love that.
Well, right. 2 of my kids are old now, but when I travel with the kids, I make them a party to the trip. So they've got to do a little bit of research. They have to tell me 2 things that they want to see when we get there. One of them has to be cultural. One of them can be a store that involves my credit card. But when you get everybody involved in planning the trip, and my kids are so much faster online than I am now too, that they'll even go on Expedia and go, hey mom, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this. But when they're part of the trip, then they're bought into it. You're going to have a much better time.
I love your travel tips today, but before we go, tell us about your involvement in the Woodruff Foundation.
We are getting ready to do our big fundraiser. If you're anywhere near New York, November 9th, Bruce Springsteen, Ricky Gervais, Jon Stewart are all going to come out and honor the 75 wounded service members that we fly in for the night, and all of the thousands of other people who have served in these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and come home injured. So we are honored after Bob's injury and incredible recovery to have created a foundation that gives back to those who have served in these wars, and we can't forget them. So we're going to keep them close to our hearts. But thank you for asking.
That is certainly great. You inspire us, and thanks for all the great travel info today, Lee.
All right, Con, promise me you're going to take a trip soon.
Yeah, maybe New York on November 9th.
There you go. You're in the front row, buddy.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, take care.
Love the energy of Lee, her knowledge, her intelligence, and I told you at the beginning, what a cool job to have. And I'm glad she could shed so much light on how we can save deals and really enjoy the shoulder season. We'll be right back.